Good evening. It's 6 p.m. I'd like to call the regular Planning Commission meeting for September 3rd, 2024 to order. Roll call, please.
Jim Baker,
Here.
Rick Day, Joe Mullinex,
Here.
Jim Murphy, Ron Rylands,
Here.
Mike Sablisk,
Here.
Denny C.,
Here.
Drew Stevenson.
Here.
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and dispense with the reading and approving of the previous month's minutes.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. At this time, I'd like to amend the agenda. We have some real quick housekeeping stuff to take care of. We need to vote for a new vice president for the board since Sandy left. And I would like to propose Drew Stevenson for that position. Anybody else want to throw their hat in the ring?
Nope.
So roll call.
Jim Baker,
Yes.
Joe Mullinex,
Yes.
Ron Rylands,
Yes.
Mike Sablisk,
Yes.
Dennis C.,
Yes.
Drew Stevenson.
I'm going to abstain.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some old business. Is there anybody here for the B ordinances? I make a motion that we amend the agenda, put that at the last. We have a lot of people in here tonight, I'm sure, that want to talk.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, new business. Petition to rezone 364 North Duke Street, rear lot from R1 to R3. We've got somebody here to speak to this.
Good evening. Do you need me to address my name and who I'm with and all? Tammy Stansbury, Woda Cooper Companies. And we are here on behalf of Benjamin Landing. And do y'all want to see these renderings before the
Sure.
audience? Okay. I know you all had a packet, but
Yeah, we
Gotcha.
thank you.
Okay, so Benjamin Landing is 38 residential townhome units designed for tenant-owned ownership with a 15-year compliance period. So what that means is at the end of the 15 years, any resident that moves into this unit after the affordability period is up, then they can purchase this condo at a reduced amount based upon what equity has already been paid into it. So this is a good segue into someone finally having homeownership.
So this is kind of a rent-to-own
Yes.
portion in the first.
Yes, but you have to stay in it for 15 years because with the housing credits, we have to stay in compliance for 15 years. And at the end of that 15 years, then if that family wants to purchase the condo, then it's at a less below market rate. So it helps them because what equity has been paid into it comes off the purchase price.
Nice, okay.
So this location is ideal for workforce housing, individuals, seniors, families, because of the proximity to amenities and things like that. In addition, we offer a lot of amenities that you don't see in a lot of rental properties. What that consists of is we will have the stove, range, refrigerator, microwave, LVT flooring throughout, extra storage for all the residents to have. In addition, we will have free Wi-Fi Every unit will have its own patio. We'll have a community room. Inside that community room, we'll have a fitness center. We'll also have a laundry facility on site in case any family happens to move in that doesn't have their own washer and dryer, because every unit will have washer and dryer hookups. And that's, again, that's just for the residents of Benjamin Landing. In addition, we will have in our community room, we'll be set up with the kitchenette for our residents to use for parties or any type of gatherings they would like to, and it's rent-free. They don't have to pay rent for that. We will also have a playground area, an outside picnic area with grills, a dog park, and bike racks, and we'll also have recycling. We will also be building this with U.S. Green Building Council leadership in energy and environmental design, so this will be a silver LEED development. Anytime you're dealing with affordable housing, you have to adhere to higher standards than anybody that's dealing with market rate, just because of the funding that's coming into it. And again, I want to stress that this is not subsidized housing, so there is no rental assistance based upon this. And I have the rent structure in case anybody wants to know that information. We do go down as low as 30%, and that's for like your single family mother that's just maybe just went through a divorce or just now back in the job workforce. Those rents start at $340, and the rents for a 2-bedroom go from $340 to $885, and for a 3-bedroom unit they start at $395 to $995. Again, we only have a small amount of units at the lower, and again, it's just for those just starting out or getting back into the workforce. We've been seeing a lot of single-family mothers out there that are now trying to get back in the workforce. When I met with the mayor and Jim with economic development, he wanted to really look at workforce housing, and this development is a mixed use just for that, and that's what they were hoping to see.
Any questions from the board? Thank you. Okay, I assume we have some remonstrators out here? How do you want to do this? Have you got a single spokesman for you all, or?
I don't believe it's just one person.
Well, who would like to come up first then?
We all pretty much think the same way about this, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, somebody like to come up and give us your side of this? Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name's Philip Hyde. A few of you, I think, know me here.
Move the microphone, baby.
A few of you, I think, know me. I've lived in that neighborhood since I was born in 1960. What this is going to do to our neighborhood, our nice, quiet cul-de-sac neighborhood, and the adjoining neighbors. I understand what she's saying, but this is going to be nothing but low-income housing. With that's going to come all kinds of problems. Not to mention the uptake in population. It's going to turn, like I said, our nice quiet neighborhood into Lord knows what. A lot of these people here are from this neighborhood. I've known them a long time. Some of them I don't know, but I think we pretty much all are feeling the same way about this. Is there's a lot of other places this could be put. It doesn't have to be in our neighborhood. I used to work for Hilltop Farms. That is another low-income housing. We had nothing but problems out there for the 2 years I worked there. Every day the police were out there. It was one thing after another, people making drugs, all kinds of stuff going on. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's what may or may not happen here. All I know is from experience what I've seen. My personal feelings for this is There's no reason to put that there. It can be put someplace else. Our neighborhood, the whole area of that, in that area is going to change from what it is now to, like I said, I don't know what, as far as property values go, it could go either way. They could go down, they could go up. If they go down, that's a bad thing. If they go up, that's a bad thing. If they go up, our income tax, our taxes are going to go up.
Yes.
If they go down, the last house that sold in that area was $125,000. What's my house and what are all these other people's houses going to be worth 6 months, 8 months, a year from now? That's equity that we've all worked hard to get into our homes that we may never, ever get back. Other than that, I'm just against it altogether because of the uptick in what's going to happen. They're going to have several egresses out of that place. Probably one on my street, probably one on 13th or on Duke, and probably one on into Longview. What kind of crime rate are we looking at?
So the only entrance is coming off of Duke, we're not.
Yeah, can we address?
There, hold on. There is.
Well, I'll have you guys come back up when he's done. Thank you.
You're also, whoever's buying this is also buying the property directly across from my house. If you're buying the whole thing, you're buying an empty lot. There was a house there that is right across the street from my house. And you're going to tear down that woods full of deer. We watch those deer every day come across that empty lot in the morning. There's got to be at least one herd, maybe more. That, I'm not a hunter, but I am this kind of a person. I don't like to see animals hurt. All right? You're going to displace probably close to 100 deer on top of it all. And as far as that goes, is that what it's going to look like? Because I've seen those drawings before, and that's for sure not what Hilltop looked like when they got done with it.
Sir, just talk to the board at this time.
All right. Oh, she asked a question.
She'll answer it
All right.
when you're done.
The way she worded this makes it sound good. It's still going to be low-income housing. That's what it's going to be.
So would you be opposed to somebody putting in a housing tract back there that wasn't low-income housing?
No, that would be fine. That's what that neighborhood was designed for to begin with.
And she never called this low-income housing.
No, she didn't. She worded it
We'll straighten that out at the end, because that's a,
Legalese, she worded it differently. I know the difference. So to all these people here.
I'm just saying,
Understand, sir. But no, this area was designed for housing, a housing addition, but the man who owned that property back in the day basically told him no, he wasn't going to sell. Mr. Martin wouldn't sell. Now he's gone, he sold to Mr. Black and Mr. Chilcutt, and this is what we get. Would any of you like to have a housing addition like this in your backyard?
I'm not in that situation at this point, but
Well, that's-
I understand
You could be, would you want it?
I understand your concerns, and my opinion doesn't count here with what you guys are saying.
You're the one going to make the decision.
And I'm going to listen to both sides, and I should not have a decision until I've heard both sides all the way through, because that's not fair to anybody.
No, I personally wouldn't have a problem with maybe a half a dozen or a dozen more houses going in there if they were decent, nice houses like what we've already got. That's community. That's a neighborhood. This is not a neighborhood. This is people come, 15 years, how many of those people are going to break those? How many people are going to get foreclosed on? She spoke about single mothers, okay? From my experience, that doesn't always work out well. And that's just from my experience working as a maintenance supervisor out there at Hilltop. It was low income, okay, I believe they called it Section 8. But that being said, it wasn't exactly the same. But what I and a lot of other people here are concerned about is who are we going to get in there? And what kind of a problem is it going to be to the neighborhood? Uptick in crime, possibly. Who knows? Property values up or down. Who knows? I'm sure none of these people will want to pay more in property taxes, because I sure don't. And the thing with the animals. Where are those animals going to go? What are they going to do with them? Because if they start bulldozing that, there's going to be a problem in the neighborhood just with the deer. Okay, I don't really have anything else to add except that I do not want that. If they want to put housing condition back there with nice houses, does anybody have a problem with that? No, I don't really have a problem with it, no. But I don't want that woods tore down. That woods has been there for well over probably 100 years or more. We used to play in it when I was a child. They're going to displace a lot of animals, and that's wrong. That'd be
Yeah,
no
but just
different
about
than-
anybody that would buy that property would do something along those lines anyways, because they're not going to just buy the property and then keep the
Well,
forest.
that's the way it's been for the last at least 60 years. I'm 65.
Yeah, but you have no owners there now, so you got to look at both sides.
Yeah, that's true. But you're looking at, that's most of the people, not everybody's here. Does it matter what we think?
Of course,
Okay. Well, I
we
really-
take everything, this board takes everything into consideration.
Yeah. But another question I have is why is this being considered to being changed from residential to commercial? Is that considered a commercial endeavor?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think it's still residential, isn't it, Jennifer?
It's going to be R1 to R3, so it's still residential,
So it's
but
still
it's
residential.
multi-family housing
Multifamily
versus
housing, okay,
single resident.
Right.
okay. Well,
Would that be an apartment building?
yeah,
Yes.
that being.
It can be an apartment building or anything that allows multi-family housing in there is what R3 would allow for.
She didn't show us these renderings.
It says B3 on our paper, not R3.
There was a mistake in typing. We have another one on the next, we have another rezone, and when somebody was typing it up, they accidentally hit B3 instead of R3.
Question as far as the rezoning, if it's rezoned, does it mean that it's rezoned specifically for this purpose, or is this just one among many purposes? It could be any other thing if it was rezoned.
It would
It can
have to
be-
fall under the category of what an R3 is, which is multifamily housing. If they wanted to do anything else, then they'd have to look and see if it falls under that zoning.
It would be nice if this is the artist's rendering of what this place is going to look like. We could show these people.
Sure.
She just showed you. She didn't show anyone else.
You want to go ahead and show them the,
I don't have no more to say, gentlemen.
okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between what affordable housing is. There is what you call, Section 8. You spoke of Section 8. This is not Section 8. Section 8 is when a person pays no more than 30% of their income. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. There's public housing. Public housing is a lot of times they may not even have a job and work, and the government pays their entire rent. Then you have affordable housing. In affordable housing, you have to have a job. You have to have money coming in to pay because there is no rental subsidy attached. Right now, for one person to move into these condos, they have to make at least $38,700 a year. For 4 people to live, they have to have income of $48,660,000 a year. The average for this county is $38,700. That's the average. So our income limits are based upon the same. Not only are we a development and construction, but we are also a management company. Everything we own and we construct, we manage. We are ranked 10th in the nation as affordable housing developers, and we will never, ever walk away from a property and let there be crime. We have very strict rules and regulations that we abide by. They have to meet these regulations when they move in. Now, granted, if at the time of the 15 years that person chooses to purchase that condo, they can. They don't have to. It could still be a rental property, but we give them that option because, as you all know, way economy is these days, it's difficult for anybody to purchase a home on their own. This is giving people an advantage of they can purchase this home with equity already into it. So when I'm talking about incomes and stuff like that, we are not planning on having multiple entrances. We have one entrance in and one entrance out. That's it. Because we also care about the safety of our residents. We don't want to have people coming in and going through our properties. We have on-site management that stays there all the time. We have on-site maintenance. And I can assure you that if you walk onto one of our properties, 15 years from now, you can walk on that same property and it's going to look as good as it did the day we opened it. I'm telling you, this is what we do. I have been in this field for 38 years. I was actually over the state housing credit program in the state of Kentucky for 25 years. The main reason I came to Woda Cooper Companies was because of the quality work they do and the fact that they don't want their properties to go down. I mean, we have people traveling all the time. We actually had a group that was here 2 weeks ago going through our Indiana properties just to make sure our management team was keeping them up to par and there was no issues. That's something we do all the time. Yes.
I just have a question. What are the avenues of security you guys take? Or do you have a security guard on staff? Do you do background checks on the residents?
We do background checks, we do rental checks, we make sure that they've paid their previous landlord. I mean, there's a litany of documentation that they have to go through when they fill out an application. And when I was talking about the single mother, that's because I was hitting what the mayor and what Jim over the economic development was wanting. They was wanting a mixed use because they said there's been a lot of like lower income, like Section 8 developments here, but there hasn't been that pocket of people just working at new factories. They was talking about some factories coming in here. Those individuals be able to live in this unit because they'd still have to pay rent. Yes.
So what you're saying is if I'm a single mother and I have 2 kids, I make $38,000 a year, my rent's $345 a month.
Starting out, it sure is.
And how does it go up gradually?
Well, no, how does it go? So it would go up based upon operating expenses and things like that, after their rent is not based upon their income. So that's why this program is so different. Once you qualify and move in, if you were to win the Indiana lottery, you wouldn't have to move. And that's,
I'm just going with the $38,000 because at $345 a month, there's no way you can pay costs unless you're getting some kind of tax benefit or something somewhere.
no, you're not, I mean, they're not.
$3,600 a year doesn't add, or that doesn't add up.
Right, and that's the majority of the people in this county, that's what they make, is $38,700. That's what they make for a single person in this county now.
And also, is that to scale?
Yes, this is the
That's exactly
scale.
what it's going to be like?
This is exactly what's going to be like. As you can see, we're keeping all of the trees around it as a buffer. We're not, we have to tear down some of the trees in order to build the buildings, but we have all the buffer. What you see here is what it's going to look like. This is the architect I have worked with for 14 years. What he designs is what we build.
You got 2-story buildings and they're all gonna look down into my house?
No, because we're going to have all this around you.
I'm not on that side.
We're on the other side.
I'm not on that other side.
So
I'm
they're
on
not
the
going to be
street.
looking down
Yeah.
on you because we've got all this greenery in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, right.
Does it face inside?
All that, it's only 12
It's just
acres.
inside, yeah.
So I don't see how old that
The,
is.
I don't either.
it's
So
gonna be a
here,
tight,
small.
here
It's gonna be a
is
tight
Duke.
squeeze.
Here is Duke. Here's the entry.
What, the
Yeah.
entry is going to be on Oak Street?
Yeah,
Turn
off of
left?
Duke.
No,
Off
whatever, what is this street?
There's 7 acres.
Off of Duke. There's no street. Yeah.
So you're going to turn.
Yeah, we're not coming in off of any subdivision streets back here.
That's pretty darn tight.
That's
As
more
you
than
can see,
that.
we've got plenty of space here, green space. We've what the stormwater basin, we've got the dog park, and then we've got all of our development here in the middle so that no one is bothered.
What did you say about the security? Like, is there like a security guard on?
No, we do not have a security guard. These are only 38 units.
Looks like a tight squeeze to me.
Sir?
I don't want anybody looking at their 2-story housing, looking into my backyard.
So townhomes are considered like single-family homes. They're condos.
Or what you-
Lance.
I'm not,
I'm just unclear because I heard something, I want to clarify it. If you change the zoning on this, and I understand the plans, I've seen the drawings here, I've seen the other locations they've had, it's my understanding that those plans can change though after it has been rezoned. It may be what they do, but it's my understanding that once it's rezoned, and they could come back and put something else in there, not these plans. Is that true? That's for the board.
That's up to them.
So we submit.
No. I'm saying, is that an option for them to put something different in there once it's rezoned? I understand it's not their plan right now.
It may be for them, but for us it is not, because we've already submitted our application into the state for funding. So what we submitted, we have to adhere to, and this is what
So
we
the answer
submitted.
is yes, it can change once it gets rezoned.
If they sold it to somebody else, the other people can do whatever they want with it. as
Because
long
it's
as
been
with that
rezoned and
zoning.
they could,
It's
these
our-
plans could all go away, quite honestly.
If they backed out of it.
Yeah, if we don't get our funding in November, this deal's not moving forward.
I hope you don't get the funding.
I understand your side of that and what you're saying there. But from residents' points of view here, once it gets rezoned, it's rezoned and your plans could change, maybe funding changes, your plans could change, and you're sitting there saying it's not going to.
No, because what we submitted to the state, we've already submitted the site plan, we've already submitted our plans. We cannot change that if we receive the funding.
Understand.
But if they change the zoning to what you want and you don't get your funding, that's already changed. That means somebody else can come in and.
That is
do
correct.
whatever they want.
That is correct.
Yes,
I
sir.
would have to say that the area.
Wait, one at a time, please.
Yes, you do, because you're on tape.
I'm just going by the rent calculator that you
I'm
get on
saying
the
in the area that we live in, I would say that we live in one of the safest areas in Peru.
I'm just saying that's one
Hey,
person.
folks, let's, a little more orderly, please. Thank you.
Okay, here on the, I looked up R3 zoning, and one of the things under compatible uses, at the end it says, can change to non-residential development. And that's not what we want. And to, like the other guy, I'm retired Miami Cass REMC. I've been to Hilltop Farms. I've been to Eagles Estate, the points out there. Once a month, I knocked on doors and give them a chance to pay their electric bill. These are not the people we want living in our backyard. I understand what they're trying to do. None of us are against it being single-family, individual houses. We're okay with that. That's what that's intended for. I personally, if you're going to put and just make it all for senior citizens, disabled veterans, hey, let's do it.
So we asked what the city preferred, senior citizens versus family, and they said they needed family.
I
because-
understand what Mayor Sturge's pet peeve is, pet project. I understand that. I also understand Mr. Tidd tries to get everything he can to help, supposed to help, but it's all about the dollar. And if this
The town don't always speak.
project decreases my property value and that of everybody that lives around me, are you willing to buy our properties?
So these are looked at as apartments, so you're comparing apples to oranges. When you go to sell your house, your comparables are based upon other single-family homes that meet your square footage, not apartments.
If we want houses, we don't want
It'll be undesirable, that'll drop it down.
It will not be undesirable.
Yeah, right. You're not living here. How many units are there?
38,
How many buildings?
7.
They're all two-story, but you're gonna be looking right down into your.
The total project cost?
Yeah.
I think the total project cost was 12 million.
So why can't you take that and buy our houses around here that are run down and fix them up? Let's get it.
Because that's not the program which we apply for funding for.
So why?
Need to find a bigger spot elsewhere.
Do you, food, gas?
Yes, ma'am.
Will there be any, do you have an estimated job opportunity? Like, how many jobs will you offer the local community? Like, if this does get approved, I'm not saying that I'm for it, but it sounds like there's some things in the works and we're kind of deciding. I'm just trying to look at the bright side. Is there gonna be an opportunity for our community to work there? Is there gonna be an up and patrol? I mean, Duke is already a fast street. We have people fly down 12th Street, 13th Street, Duke. Are we gonna have more patrol in the area since there is gonna be apartment complexes, since we have been such a small community and quiet part of town? I'm just kind of thinking of that kind of thing as well.
So as far as jobs, we subcontract everything out, so if there's locals here that can put bids in, we always look towards the community for that. As far as patrol, that's something that is with the city. We don't have any control over that.
What's the estimated project time if this does happen?
So we will know mid-November if we get an award. At that point, we'll move towards closing. So we would probably start construction sometime around August of 2025, with completion hopefully around August of 2026.
So you don't own the property?
Currently, we do not own the property.
So you're looking at approval to buy the property?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Look elsewhere.
That project doesn't consume the whole property.
No, it does not. The other half of the property, we're not even doing anything with.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing a phase two.
There are no plans.
There is no plans to do a phase two.
So I don't know who to address, whether it's the board or, so you can tell me if I'm out of line, but, and I don't know that, to me, it's a small field. I mean, when I look at these townhomes and the layout, it just seems like that there's not enough room, or it's just going to be very cramped. So my concern is for the residents on Oak Street that actually face that field. How close are these apartments going to be to the homes that are already there? And
Well, according to that, they're not even touching the grass area. It's all going to be in the woods. Yeah, just that last one.
Yeah. This is, I'm assuming this is the subdivision we're talking about was Oak.
Yes.
All this is going to be green space, so it'll be non-touched. All the woods are staying there.
So you're assuming, so you don't even know what the area looks like at all? You're assuming, so you don't even know what the area looks like at all?
She said it's just scale.
I'm looking at this.
now she's saying this is a rendering, so these are the homes on Oak Street that face that field. So
It's still going to be green space here. We're still going to have green space.
So the people on Oak Street, looking out their back door, would be looking approximately 125 feet away. They would be looking at the back of a two-story building.
Yeah, right there, number 6, they're gonna be, that person's gonna be looking at my backyard, because my house is right there.
The architect didn't put the amount of feet on here, but we got a detention basin that's going to be.
You trust me, it's close to 125 feet.
I
So
don't know.
Yeah.
So the pasture field that is behind the Oak Street, which I live on 508, that faces that way, the pasture field out there, that stays.
Yeah, as you
That's not
can see,
necessary.
yeah, we're the trees. We're keeping.
Where
all-
are the trees?
Yeah, we're keeping the trees. We want a barrier as well.
And what do you plan on doing with the vacant lot on 507?
We're not gonna do nothing with it. The whole gonna be a street. I mean, someone wants.
Driveway.
Hey, folks,
If it's a driveway,
yeah, folks, you-
Driveway.
please keep it down one at a time, please.
There's no way you could drive through with the way we're placing our buildings. So we're not doing anything with this parcel over here.
okay. Well, I was just curious, because I
Yeah,
live on
no.
508, 507 is vacant. That's part of the property here. It just makes sense to me, as well as some other people, that a driveway would
Yeah,
be
no.
made through there for these
No.
residents.
For our residents' safety, we want one way in and one way out. We don't ever build anything with two entrances, just for our residents' safety as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir, in the back. Please stand up.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Bill.
Off of Duke Street. We live right there. That road we're gonna have coming in, going out. We live in the first house, the big barn. It's right up, if you're just coming in and out, that's where it's gonna be going.
So will we have all of the traffic, all of the delivery trucks, all of the guests, all of the construction vehicles going in and out, right beside our house? School buses?
Well, I don't know where school buses will pick up.
Right there. Trash pickup, recycle, all that, right by our house. Would the board want that by their house?
Folks, again, we need to please keep the chatter down in the back a little bit so we can hear what everybody's saying. Thank you very much.
We work hard on our house to keep it nice looking. We've spent a lot of money, and we do not want multiple family housing in that area. R1 is okay. I don't like the street running beside my house. I don't want that, but I
So
don't.
there was no other way to put the street unless you're coming through someone's home?
But it's
and
beside
stuff?
somebody else's house, and they don't want it either.
Right. This, to us, this was the safest and the easiest entrance in to this piece of property.
Sure, yeah. Heck with everybody else. It doesn't matter how much money we put in our house and what it's worth now and what it will be worth in 5 years after.
Nobody's gonna be living up there wanting traffic back and forth.
No, there's a lot of traffic on Duke Street now, and it's fast-moving traffic. They think they're out in the country. They go by our house all the time, 50 miles an hour. It's an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, these are just
Motorcycles.
38 units.
I know,
It-
38
It would be
units
no different than someone
with
coming in and
76
putting
people.
80 homes back there, because that's what you could literally put back there, is 80 some odd homes. This is much
They don't
less
need to put any
homes.
back here.
Well, I'm just saying that that property is already zoned for that, and you could very easily
Well,
put
I
80 homes.
understand that, and
you would
I
have
could live with
construction.
that, but I really don't want a road beside my house. I'm telling the board that. That's what I'm not telling you, I'm telling the board.
Replying back to what they're saying. I'd like to make a comment. I've heard people saying, well, you don't want somebody looking down your windows. You don't want, you spent a lot of money fixing your property up. I've done the same thing, okay? And I live in town, and I have people that look down into where I'm in my hot tub. I can't stop them, okay? I've spent a lot of money on my property. They're trying to burn my fence down because they put the burn pile 4 foot from my fence. That's just part of life.
I got a question for the city. Now, we live in Longview. Now, we pay, for drainage, water drains and stuff. Well, we don't have them. The city's supposed to come once a month and flush out our drains for our sewers, and they don't do that. So when they build this over here, where's all of this rainwater going to go? Because it usually goes over into the woods.
No, right here, this detention basin.
Well, that's on the back side. We live on the other side.
We'll have everything draining towards this detention basin.
Oh. But it looks like about 80% of that woods is going to be gone.
Well, whether somebody puts in this project or single-family homes.
But is the
woods are gonna
city,
be gone.
is the city going to redo our areas and bring everything? We're supposed to have a pump to pump the waste out, and half the people in our addition, half the people in our addition, we got to pay for Roto-Rooter and come clean out our drains because the city doesn't clean them out like they're supposed to because they didn't put a pump.
Okay, that is something you have to take up with them. This is merely Plans Commission. We
Okay.
have nothing to do with that.
Well, I'm just telling you, you guys got to think of that down the road too.
Wondering how much this project is going to impact the problem he's
Because,
already dealing with.
but you got all that dirt in that field, and then I've been through that woods before. You got to do a lot of moving stuff out of that woods. My grandpa used to have a barn back here, and you got a lot of stuff that you're going to have to move.
But they have to follow the codes and that for their drainage and all that, they
Yeah.
have to do that, put the retention ponds in and all that. So it's,
But in our addition, we might see one car a day. There's not people in the, going through our addition looking to buy a house. They want to buy in our addition.
well,
Now, if you guys, I mean, I don't want to see anybody homeless. I want to see them develop, just look along the Riverwalk. I can't believe all them places filled up. But their rent isn't cheap. That rent there is twice as much as what these people want. We're not stupid.
So.
You know, you got to use your brain, you know. If these people are paying $1,400 for one of them townhouses and they only want $800 or less, what's it going? It's going to go. And nobody's going to live in them places for 10 years. I've never yet seen a rental place that people stay there 10 years and end up buying it.
but this has incentive for them to do that.
Yeah,
Most
but
places
I'm
do
not saying
have
that, but you don't see that happen.
You have,
I bet
I have seen that
if you
happen.
got paperwork and show that people are going to live in that for 10 years, I believe it. But I don't believe you could show the paperwork somebody lived in that place for 10 years.
It's 15.
Oh, 15 years.
What is your?
Okay, I'm done.
Go, Brendan. I mean, I don't know what it'd be for this community, but normally we're 100% occupied at all times. And we normally have a waiting list, around 60 residents waiting on the waiting list.
And you're
So-
talking about,
Sit down.
I got to
Buying-
talk about the income.
15 years and actually.
So it varies on the locations, like in the bigger cities. Some, you don't see it as much, but in the smaller communities, you see it more so because that's their opportunity of finally having ownership.
Will you guys put it on paper, but it's gonna be just like that, there will never be a phase 2?
Yeah, there's no phase 2
I know
coming.
you're saying.
Yeah, but can you put that on paper?
5 years from now, you might be dead
I-
and gone,
I
and
mean-
some other girl standing in your place giving us the same thing.
Anybody can stand up there and talk.
So you're telling us that's all it's ever gonna be?
That's all it's ever going to be based upon the market, the needs of the community, and the desires of the state housing agency.
Then put it on paper.
I cannot, I'm not the owner.
And the management
You're the seller.
company,
No, I'm the developer.
the management company that will be managing this, will they be local? Will they be on site?
We will have an on-site manager, but we own our own management company. We currently have 14,000 units that we rent out across 17 states.
All right, I would like to say something, if I may. I live on Longview Drive. That interacts with 14th. There was 26 houses in our addition. Most of them are senior citizens. We have 2 families in there now. We have no sidewalks. We can let our kids ride their bikes out in the streets because our area is safe. Now, if you put those kind of things over there on the other side of the woods, then we're going to have more traffic coming through our addition. And as my husband said, you're lucky, and I swear everybody can vouch for this. If you see 5 cars go through our addition that does not live in there, it would be a miracle. The only people that are out in their cars, they drive safe. I want to guarantee that nothing is going to go on this side of the woods to mess up our addition.
I know as far as building.
And I want it on paper because, you know, you can stand up there and talk because somebody sent you here to do that. But I want to see it on paper, and I think everybody should have a paper stating that.
So I can't guarantee.
There you go.
Anybody. I can guarantee what our construction buildings will be, but I can't guarantee anybody driving through your subdivision. No possible developer could guarantee that. And like I said, whether we come in or someone commercially comes in, eventually that piece of property is going to be developed. And this way it's more controlled because we control everything we build. You could have commercial space going in there. It's going to be even more traffic. Anything can go in there right now. And you always want single-family homes. Like I said, 80 homes could technically be built in there. That's going to increase the road, the entrance, and everything else. Not only will it increase, there'll be more entrances coming in with single-family homes. So right now, it's being controlled by us.
I have one more thing. years ago, before most of us lived in Longview, they tried to build low-income houses in that addition. And the two additions went to court and fought it and won that they wouldn't allow them low-income housing. So if you go back in your records, you'd probably find out they already turned it down once.
But this is not low-income housing.
Yes, it is. 345 a month is low-income housing, no matter how you talk and shake.
This is not market rate housing, correct? And that's why you see the rents $1,400 a month. And as everybody knows, since COVID, we have seen rent prices increase to the point that people can't even afford to rent anymore. You can't find anything. We're trying to keep our rents lower so that people have an advantage, that when they go out and get that new job that may be coming or whatever, they have an advantage. Their rent does not increase based upon their income, so they can now save money, whether they choose to stay here and buy it or go somewhere else and buy a home. That's the whole purpose of the housing credit program, is for that reason.
Then how do you make money? How does your business make money just just as you bought?
We get a developer fee. When we put together a deal, we get a developer fee. Our construction company gets fees from doing the construction, and our management company gets a fee. But no. We subcontract everything out. We are our own construction company, and we do subcontract everything out. But the difference with us is because we are integrated, because we are a management and a construction and a development company, is we pay our management team last. Whereas if you hire somebody third party, that third party is going to take their fee first, and then whatever's left is going to the development. We don't do that. We make sure that the development is taken care of first, and then we pay our staff.
Is that $385 a month you're talking about for 15 years?
No. So that $380 is just for 6 units. I don't even think, I think it was 3 units. 3 units. The rest of them, the rents were higher.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No.
Stay at $380
No.
some dollars for 15 years?
No. Because every year operating
One at a
expenses
time.
go up, as with anything, and the rent will increase as well. But it won't increase based upon their income. It only increases based upon the operating expense of the development, what it costs us to maintain, and things like that. That's the only increase we ever impose upon our residents.
Where are these people that are going to rent this? Where are they coming from?
From here,
Where? Where are they living now?
I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't either.
There's no way anybody could know that.
What jobs are you expecting to come into town?
I'm just going by what the economic developer and the mayor said about they're trying to get new, well, I'm just basing on my meeting with them.
What this boils down to, the committee, we want R1. We don't want R3. We're going to keep it at R1, and they can't go through all this.
Julie, could I ask a question of you without putting you on the spot? Sure. How many units comparable to what they're talking about are needed in this community right now?
We need double of what you're putting in this community. And the truth is, I'm sitting here and I understand what you guys are saying, but there is such a huge need for what these folks are doing. So, and honestly, I'll say this as well, there's really nowhere in Peru where we can hook up to city utilities. We don't have the infrastructure. And honestly, that'd be okay. I'm telling you, I would be okay with that, okay? But we need double of what we're doing.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's cut this. We've pretty much heard what everybody wants. Yes, sir.
My question is, on the petition that I see, it shows the name of one company, Wodu, Cooper.
Woda Cooper Companies.
How are you related to that?
I'm Vice President of Development.
And why didn't you say you was with them and not somebody else?
I did, when I first announced myself.
I did not hear you say that, so
Yeah.
my apology on that.
I'll be happy to give you my card.
And I'll make a suggestion of where you could build them houses. You go out to Grissom Air Force Base, you go from where the old Apollo building was,
Okay.
just west of Matador Apartments, and you can go all the way to the flight line because there's open ground there, and you can put in 300 of your projects out there.
Good. I understand, folks, but that's not, this is what we're dealing with here. I mean, you can sit there and, yeah, we can put it in Grissom and all that. This is what they're asking for here.
No. No.
So,
No.
yes.
Just take a vote.
The question, sorry, I have to direct this to both of you. You say you're going to know about your funding in November.
Correct.
How soon do you need this to be rezoned before November?
By the end of September.
There would be no use for them to go forward with it if they didn't get the zoning.
Well, no, but if they do get the zoning, then they can resell it off if it doesn't happen in November.
If we have a purchase agreement, if we do not get the funding, that purchase agreement is null and void.
But it's still rezoned already. We can't come back and undo this.
The next person can come in and zone it back to whatever they want.
But they can just bring it in and do something different.
Do you have the authority to have it be an exception, the variance have an exception? This goes through, it's R3, but if it doesn't go through, it goes back to R1?
We wouldn't be changing we're only changing the zoning for these folks.
And so is this what you're looking forward to on a September meeting then?
I'm not, you mean to rezone it?
Yes, because she says she needs it by September. That's next month.
We're an advisory, hang on, hey, calm down, folks.
Later this month.
We're an advisory board to the city council. Whatever we say here is our recommendation to city council. City council on the 9th will make the final decision. So we've heard, I understand all of your concerns and so forth. I understand theirs. Do we have anything that we're not going back over again?
You said, excuse me, the 9th, so next Monday?
Yes.
So it's my understanding, if I heard right, let's say it was approved to R3 so that they can, if they get their grant, is it? Approval?
Approval.
Approval funding, that it would go back to R1 if they don't get it?
No, because they wouldn't change the zoning, because we're changing the zoning for them.
But if they don't get it, then what?
It stays R1.
And that's for sure.
But because it hasn't went to that, then Mr. Black and Mr. Chilcott could sell it to someone else. And
Why don't they sell it individually to all the
But I
people
thought it was
around
going to
there?
go back to R1 if they didn't get,
They are asking for a zoning change for their project.
because they need the apartment condo R.
Well, you've got to, it's a building blocks, okay?
Right.
This is their first step. They don't get the zoning change, they're not going to deal with the property. So this is their first step, and like I said, we're an advisory board to the city council. So they will make the final decision on the 9th, taking into consideration what we say or not. That's totally up to them. Okay, is there anything else that's pertinent at this time?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Make a motion that we bring it to a vote?
Second.
Motion, all in favor of bringing it to a vote?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, roll call.
Jim Baker.
This is to bring it to vote, right?
This is for
our recommendation on R3.
And we have to do it twice, one for the rear lot and one for the side lot. So we'll have to go through it twice.
Right.
Okay, so this is for the rear lot. Jim Baker?
Okay, this is not an easy decision for me. For one, I'm going to have to abstain from my vote because I do have property that backs up to Longview. I've lived in that neighborhood since 1967. But I'm friends with Matt and I'm friends with Zach. And I look out here and I see people that I've known in that neighborhood forever. So I am in a no-win situation here. So like right now, I'm abstaining from my vote.
Roll call.
So Jim Baker abstain, Rick Day's not here, Joe Mullenix.
Yes.
Jim Murphy is not here, Ron Rylance,
Yes.
Mike Sablisk,
No.
Dennis C.,
Yes.
and Drew Stevenson.
Yes.
Okay,
Now we make a motion.
Now we go for the next,
for the
for the
sidewalk.
rear lot. Roll call.
Okay,
What are we
Jim Baker's
roll calling now?
The
abstaining.
rear lot. There's two lots here.
Oh.
Rick Day's not here, Joe Mullenix.
Yes.
Jim Murphy is not here, Ron Rylance,
Yes.
Mike Sablisk,
No.
Dennis C.,
Yes.
and Drew Stevenson.
Yes.
Okay,
And again, this will be at the city council meeting, 6 o'clock in this room on the 9th. Okay. Well, no, this is done. Now we're going to go on to the next thing on our. Okay, the next thing. Yeah, we're going on to the next one. That was the vote you just took.
You said.
Can we put the renderings so people can see them out in the...
Not true.
No, sir, that's not true at all.
Not
Well,
true.
that's your opinion.
You're sorrowfully mistaken, sir. You are sorrowfully mistaken.
Anyways, we need order. We still have more business to do. We still have more business to do.
No.
No, no, no. Thank you, though, sir. All right. Okay, next order of business. Is anybody here for the rezone of parcel or 364 Duke Street?
That's what we just went over.
We did.
I'm sorry. Business, 2523 Business 31. I'm sorry. And nobody's here for that? Oh, you are. Okay, thank you. Just fine, thank you.
My name is Tim Lakeisha Fields, and I purchased that property to use it for senior living. Right now, we do senior.
Sorry, ma'am,
Yeah,
hold on a second. One, we got all the noise going outside. If you could get up closer to the microphone maybe and tilt it towards your, thank you.
We'll shut this door too.
Hi, again. My name is Tim Lakeisha
Thank you.
Fields, and I am looking to rezone this property for seniors. I have been a caregiver for seniors for over 30 years, and I transitioned out to start care homes for seniors. I have multiple properties that I service seniors, and we do small settings. Well, when I got offered this property, I thought it would be a good idea for residential care living for seniors. I am aware that the mayor knows what I'm doing with it, and I think he thinks it's a great idea. I also I've talked to people on the zoning board as well. We have went in and we have done some modifications to the house. We made, it looks newer. We didn't do too much. We made the doors where we can get, if we need roll aids. We also added a ramp to it. We also cut trees down. It looks very beautiful from when we first purchased it. I've also had an inspector come out. They thought it was a great idea. And so basically what we will offer is, instead of going to a nursing home, because a lot of people ain't ready for the nursing home, so they can live in a small setting and have friends there that, that they can get along with. Some of the rooms will be shared and some of them will be private. We also offer outings. We offer free Wi-Fi. They have free Wi-Fi. We'll also have caregivers come in. If it gets to where they need a nurse, that's why we needed to be zoned B, I think it's B3, because it's R1 right now. So we need to be B3 just in case they have to have a nurse.
For in-home care.
For in-home care, correct. This will be their home. The houses are always fully furnished. All they have to do is bring their clothes. We have some clients don't have anything. So everything will be furnished, the TVs, the furniture, everything. And again, we have multiple houses, I should have brought pictures, I'm sorry I didn't, where we transition these into care homes. I don't call them group homes, I call them care homes. And I want them to dignity. Their dignity is everything. Quality of life, that's what we offer.
So how many people would you say have in this home facility?
Maybe we're looking like 8 to 10 because it's like two-story. We can have upstairs, well, we have the upstairs and we have the downstairs because the house is like 2 houses in one, like apartment or something, but it has a fully kitchen, which we won't use because everything will be upstairs. But you can put a kitchen, the kitchen is downstairs and you can have a stove and refrigerator down there. But we will have caregivers up and down. Mostly the ones downstairs will be independent. They need limited assist or no assist. Upstairs will be the same way, but for the most part, we would like them to be independent living downstairs, where they just need limited care.
Ma'am, what's on the property right now? Is it just a single-family house?
It is a single-family house. I think it's,
Can you make that bigger, Dave?
it's a little over 2 acres, I think it is. They have natural lighting. They have
To see.
like a lot of farms. There's like horses out there. They can look, sit out back. We also,
Well, will the existing structure then be tore down for new then?
no. We just went in and we just modified the doors. We just updated a little bit, like new ceiling fans, because the house was kind of outdated. It was pretty in bad shape. It didn't look like it when we purchased it, but when we went in there, it was in bad shape. So now it looks really good. If you are on 31, you have a great view of it. We trimmed all the trees, so it stands out now. It looks really good. And the neighbors are very impressed with the renovation that we made.
Yeah, that property was looking pretty bad there for a
Yes,
while with
yes.
all the trash and junk out in the yard,
Yes, and
so.
it looks really good now.
Okay.
Is there accessibility for patients to go up and down? Because I know you said there were
Yes.
stairs.
Yes, so inside the house, there's stairs, right? But if you go around from the back, there's a few stairs, but you can get downstairs from there. Now, if they're not independent, they will not be using the stairs, they will stay upstairs.
Okay.
And the house is fit for this. When I got offered that, it was really great idea, because this is what I do.
Any other questions?
No.
We have a motion to change, I'll make a motion to change the property zoning from R1 to B3.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We got
Roll call.
Thank you so much.
Well, we're not.
Well, wait, we're
Well, hold
not.
on.
Oh, okay.
Roll call.
Jim Baker,
Yes.
Joe Mullenix.
Yes.
Ron Rylance,
Yes.
Mike Sablisk,
Yes.
Dennis C.,
Yes.
Drew Stevenson.
Yes.
Now, you realize this goes, just like the last one, goes to city council on the 9th.
Yes.
So,
I'm trusting in God. I think it's going to work out.
thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Okay, we have one more little bit of business. That was the old business that we put off to the end, and it's the B ordinance. Has everybody had a chance to read the 2 ordinances?
Yeah.
So, the last ordinance, the last one on there comes from Dustin Kern, our city attorney. He went and did the research and wrote this up with the aid of the board. And then the other one is Tim Simpkin. I think, we've gone through this B thing several times with this committee.
Right.
And we've never really had more than 1 or 2 people that were interested in the first place.
Right.
We've always had a no B ordinance in this city, but the state is kiboshed it. We have to allow them. I personally think the one that Dustin Kern, researched and all that, I think that one's quite adequate. I believe the Tim Simpson one gets weighted too down into the weeds for what we're actually going to experience in this town.
Right.
So that's just my opinion.
Okay.
I think the ordinance that is the ordinance that we worked on, you and I, Sandy.
That's Kern's.
That's, okay. That one, to me, seems like it fits everything we need. I think we just need to take a vote on it and let it go.
I agree.
Well, one of the things it didn't cover was the entrances. There's certain,
Flyways?
yeah,
The flyways?
yeah.
Yeah, it covered that.
Oh, it did?
It did, yeah.
You have to have a 6-foot barrier, which would rise them to that height.
But if you're next to a wood, you don't need it. I mean, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I make a motion that
Bring it to vote.
we bring it to vote.
Yeah. Okay. And this is for the Dustin Kern, our city attorney's wife.
Okay.
Okay, I second the motion. Roll call.
Jim Baker?
Yes.
Joe Mullenix?
Yes.
Ron Rylance?
Yes.
Mike Zglisk?
Yes.
Dennis C?
Yes.
Drew Stevenson?
Yes.
Anything else? I call adjournment. Do I have a second? All in favor?
I am in favor.